I actually just recorded a 10-minute video on the three minds and neurometaphysical, and I'm not sure what happened towards the end of it. It actually disappeared. We had some internet problems, so I'm going to actually record this again, and hopefully this will work. So let's start again. Okay, so neurometaphysical. Neurometaphysical is the combination of your neurology and the metaphysical world. And there's some basic foundations that we need to go through to actually explain what these are. And I wanted to start with the three minds because I think it's really, really important. I first learned about the three minds when I was learning Hawaiian Huna, and it's really important to understand how these work, what they are, and how they fit into neurometaphysics, so that you can understand why they are a basis of this absolute training. Okay, so we have got three minds. The first one is your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is sequential, it's logical. Sequential meaning that it only can do one thing at a time. There actually is no such thing as multitasking, and it is your awareness. It's what you are aware of. So when you have a thought and you're aware of it, that is your conscious mind. It is very analytical. It thinks very logically. It needs to make sense of things. Your unconscious mind has no logic. It's the realm of your emotions. It stores all your memories. It is the part of you that you are not aware of. It runs all your habits and routines. So have a think about some of the habits and routines that you have, how you don't even have to think about them, they just happen. That is all because they are stored in the unconscious mind. When you first begin a habit or a routine, the conscious mind will actually work on that habit or that routine. Once the conscious mind doesn't have to think about it anymore, it actually relegates that to the unconscious mind. Have a think about when you learned to drive a car. For instance, when you first learned to drive a car, you had to think about, putting the keys in the ignition. These days we just press buttons, where the pedals are. Now you can just jump in the car and drive without having to think about it too much. It just happens automatically. The unconscious mind also stores all your memories, all your beliefs, whether they are limiting or not, all your negative emotions from the past. It is believed that the unconscious mind is housed within your body. Some people say that. That's something that I believe as well, because when we actually feel an emotion, we tend to feel it with our body. When we react to something, we react with our whole body. We have 10 times 10 in brackets times 11 neurological connections in our whole body, not just in our brain. So those neurological connections that are in our body actually house all our memories, store all our memories, store our thoughts. In fact, our body is eavesdropping on everything that we consciously think about. The conscious mind is our goal setter. The unconscious mind is our goal getter. 95% of what we do every day, we do out of our awareness. When I say unconscious, it doesn't mean that we're unconscious, like we're in hospital unconscious. It means out of our awareness. So sometimes when something will happen to you, you'll see something. You might think about it consciously, but it is actually the unconscious mind that will have the reaction, not the conscious mind. So the unconscious mind plays an incredibly important role in everything that we do every day. We also have a higher self. The higher self is the collective consciousness, an intuition, a gut feeling. It is a connection between all of us. How do these fit into the neurometaphysical? Well, the conscious mind is definitely neurological, meaning you fire off neural network pathways in the conscious mind when you create thoughts. The unconscious mind is also neurological in the sense that it will actually fire off the neural network pathways of your mind in your brain that create your routines and your patterns. The unconscious mind also has a connection to the metaphysical because the higher self is that metaphysical part of you. Now, a lot of people use meditation to connect into what we call the higher self. The higher self is what you would maybe call I call it the universe. In some religions, people call it God, right? It's completely up to you. These words are all interconnected. The meaning of the word God, if you go back to the original meaning of the word God, has a completely different meaning to what it has these days through religion. So the higher self is your connection to the universe, energy, universal energy, conscious, the collective consciousness of the world, and all those sorts of things. So a lot of people, when they meditate, what they're hoping to do is to connect into that collective consciousness, that universal energy. Now, the unconscious mind can actually communicate with the higher self. So if you're meditating and you're getting messages or you get gut instincts, it actually comes down as communication to the higher self. This is one of the loops that communication does between these three minds. It comes down into the unconscious mind. Now, the unconscious mind, this is where the problems start to begin. If the unconscious mind is holding negative emotions, limiting beliefs, and other memories of something that's happened in your past, and the unconscious mind, all it tries to do is keep you safe. It's actually always on the lookout for something to go wrong. What it actually does, it filters those messages coming from the higher self so that when you get them to the conscious mind and you have those thoughts and feelings, they've been filtered by the unconscious mind so that you're safe. So the higher self communicates with the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind then can pass that communication to the conscious mind. The higher self and the conscious mind do not have any communication with each other. Everything must pass through the unconscious mind. So you can see already that if you're trying to meditate, manifest, listen to your intuition, any of that sort of stuff, the messages are coming from the higher self. They're going into the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is filtering it according to what it believes to be right, true, important, etc., and then passes them on to the conscious mind. So are you actually getting higher self messages correctly? The conscious mind is your goal setter, and the unconscious mind is your goal getter. Now, when we want to manifest something in our lives, we manifest it, first we think about it consciously. We communicate that with the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind picks that up, and again, the unconscious mind will start filtering this immediately. It's good for you, it's not good for you, you can do this, you can't do it, you're not worth it, all those sorts of things that it does. And then whatever's left, it will pass it on to the higher conscious self to put it out there in the universe for manifesting. It'll put it out there from the higher self as energy. Again, this is why sometimes we do not get what we want when we try and manifest. So you can see why this is really, really important in neurometaphysical. In neurometaphysical, you have to understand that your conscious mind is your goal setter, You have to understand the way your unconscious mind works and how it's the connection between neurology and the metaphysical higher self, and how it passes messages from the higher self to the conscious mind, and from the conscious mind to the higher self. So neurometaphysical is about understanding these three minds, how they work, and understanding especially the unconscious mind, and working on the unconscious mind to get rid of what does not work for you in order for you to be able to get what you want out of life. So I hope I've explained that. There is a lot more to this than just that. That is just a very, very small overview of what the three minds are. But I hope you understand, in my attempt to try and get people to learn about neurometaphysical, because it is my training, I wanted to start here, and I will bring you bits and pieces of this training and how it all works, and different modalities where they fit into the neurometaphysical pattern. Some of the modalities I've been teaching for a long, long time. For instance, meditation, one of the best ways to be able to connect to the higher self. Timeline therapy, one of the best ways to clear out the unconscious mind. And of course, things like NLP, which is fantastic when it comes to the conscious mind and understanding your neurology, and the neuro effect, which works on both the conscious and unconscious minds as well. So the three minds, very important to remember that everything that we think about in our awareness needs to go up to the conscious, from the conscious, to the unconscious, through the higher self, so that it can become metaphysical energy. Everything in our world is energy, including ourselves. So it's really important to understand that you have to have a grip on that metaphysical world as well as the neurology. And then, of course, if you're trying to do it the other way, where you're trying to listen to the higher self, you want to get messages from your intuition and your higher self, that it needs to, again, go through that unconscious mind to consciously become aware, so that you can understand the messages that you're listening to. Neurometaphysical, something that I've been working on for probably very formally over 8.5 years now. I know the time is right to bring this out there to get people to understand that it cannot be one or the other. It has to be a combination. And when you combine the neurology with the metaphysical together, amazing things happen. I'll be back on tomorrow with another installment of neurometaphysical and how it works. All the background tomorrow. We're going to be looking at some background again. We probably will for the rest of this week. So please join me. It's going to be at ad hoc times to fit into my schedule at the moment, but I really look forward to bringing this to you. If you want to know more, please reach out. Or join the Facebook group that I have at the moment, which will mean that you will see all the events and everything that's going to happen. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks for watching. I'd love to know what you think about this, and please comment. I always love to know, especially let me know if you have any questions as well, and I look forward to bringing more of this to you. Bye for now.